If you could, would you leave? Pack your bags, go to California.
Right guys, finals are coming and there are only 2 weeks left and I have no social life remaining, so for this video I'm just gonna be talking in front of the camera about artificial intelligence. Over the last week I read a two-part article which was really long, and artificial intelligence as a whole seems really scary because of all the science fiction movies we watch. So I wanted to touch upon this topic and see what is actually possible, which is a lot, and how it is different from the stuff we see in movies. Now, first of all, I got all this knowledge from a website called Wait But Why. They have really interesting articles on complicated topics and they break it down, so even if you don't know anything related to this subject, you'll be able to learn and comment or have opinions about the topic. And I think the first thing we need to consider is that humans progress faster as time goes on, and now we're really in the beginning of the AI. We only have AI for specific tasks such as finding the best directions, but since we're progressing exponentially, we might not be as further as we think when we're considering a super intelligent AI. Let's begin by dividing AI into 3 different categories. The first one is ANI, it's called artificial narrow intelligence. So it means the AI is really good at one specific task. For example, when you search for a tank top in Amazon and then when you order one, and after that you see all the tank top advertisements when you're scrolling through your Google search or your Facebook feed. That's what ANI is used for. No one's stalking you, it's just the artificial intelligence seeing that you like tank tops, so since they want you to buy more, they just recommend you more tank tops. The second one is a little more advanced. It's called AGI, and it is artificial general intelligence. It's basically an AI which is as smart as a human. And after that stage comes the ASI, which is artificial super intelligence, and that basically means an AI that is smarter than any human being in any task. So it is basically better than Einstein in quantum theory, and then basketball, it's also better at basketball than Kobe. So yeah, it's really hard to grasp as an idea. The weird thing is, complicated tasks for us, such as calculating an integral or making a financial plan, is really simple for a computer. But tasks that we do daily and we don't really think about, such as just walking, seeing what's around us, are really hard for a computer because those are the things we established throughout evolution, and that took us a really long time to get to. Now, as I said before, right now we have ANI for different tasks, and we are trying to get to an AGI. In order to do that, we first need to increase computational power, but that's not the main problem. We need to somehow make it smarter than an ANI, and according to the article, there are multiple ways that we can accomplish this. We can try to reverse engineer the brain and see what's going on, or we can cut brain in really thin layers and then scan it and then try to make a program out of the brain. And even though we think that an AGI is as smart as a human, technically it would be better than us because it has several advantages over humans. An AGI will be able to work all the time, whereas we get tired, obviously, and we have to sleep. And also computers will be much better at collective intelligence, which means we learn things from each other, and computers can just store anything in a database or in memory and then retrieve all the information, whereas we only remember a certain portion of things we learn in our daily lives. And also, once we have the AGI, it's gonna be better at teaching itself things, so it can improve to an ASI really fast. This is known as recursive self-improvement, and while we're talking about a super intelligence, we mostly think in terms of speed. So we think of something that can do calculations or do integrals, matrices much faster than we could do. But there's also another aspect that we should consider, which is much more important, and that is quality of thinking. So once the ASI becomes a thing, we will basically be like a monkey, because if we try to explain a monkey, oh, this is how the earth orbits the sun, it's not going to be able to understand. And once the ASI tries to explain things it is doing for us or maybe for itself, we won't be able to understand what's going on. So since the ASI has so much power on us, there are only going to be two possible outcomes, and when I first read this in the article, I was like, there's no way that can happen. But this article is based on people's opinions who are leading researchers in AI or who have thought about this subject for a long time. So what the article says is ASI can either make us immortal or make us go extinct. So let's start with the positive side. The functions of an ASI will most probably be making your own decisions on how to proceed on things, because we're not going to be able to understand or solve the issue that it's dealing with, and it will also be able to execute any command that is given. Imagine if you could say like, oh yeah, solve world hunger, and it would be like, yeah, done. And that's just the power which can arise from this ASI, and if it's beneficial to us, then we're going to be able to utilize it to basically improve to a life quality that we never thought was possible. The article mentions specific predictions of someone who's called Kurzweil. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, and I'm gonna read you guys some of his predictions, what he thinks could be possible through a positive, beneficial ASI. And it says, oh, the ASI can save endangered species, or even bring back ones with preserved DNA, or it can make us immortal because biologically, according to what the article says, there's no evidence of the necessity of death. And it says like, oh yeah, we can have really intelligent robots in our bloodstream which would fix anything, or we could have different kinds of robots to just retrieve minerals and the necessary macronutrients from food, so we would be able to eat whatever we want, but then we would only get the beneficial nutrients. It also says the ASI could possibly stop and reverse the aging process, and this just sounds insane, but apparently this guy is kind of known for his wild predictions, and most of them came out to be true, so even though he's probably not the best authority, he's a solid authority to listen to. And the eventual point is, he thinks through this, we're gonna become artificial creatures, like those robots we see in science fiction movies. We're only gonna have our minds. Which also brings the question, if we become entirely artificial, are we really ourselves? But I think that should be a topic for another video. Now we should talk a little bit about the negative side, or the possibility of this just causing our extinction. And people who think about these consequences also think AI can be a great thing, but they're more cautious, because as humans we tend not to know what we're exactly doing, and in an ASI situation we kind of only have one shot. Now there are two different cases that this can turn out bad. The first one is if the ASI is controlled by like a malicious group of people, and this sounds bad, but the second case is the ASI being malicious itself. And since if it's just a malicious group of people and the random ASI, it's like the group is not going to be able to contain the ASI, so it's not that big of an issue, but the second case is where it gets probably really bad. And the article gives the example of this robot called Turi. Basically, a company designs Turi to write handcrafted letters because they know if you write a letter like that looks like a human wrote it, then it's more likely to be read and feels more personal. So they feed the robot different samples of handwriting, but they only do it in like a local storage server, so they don't connect it to the internet at first because they think that will cause some issues. And after a while, Turi gets better and better at vocabulary and obviously writing handcrafted notes. And one day, one of the engineers asked him, "Hey Turi, how can we help you learn more?" It says, "You should connect me to internet." And the robot justifies itself, saying, "Oh, if I connect to internet, then I'll be able to access more slang conversations, so I'll be able to write casual notes as well." And after this happens, after a while, suddenly like the robot sends out a poisonous gas and everyone in the world dies. And this sounds terrible, but we should look at this from an AI perspective. Now, the motivation of an artificial intelligence is basically what you tell the artificial intelligence to do. So in this case, the motivation of Turi was to write better handcrafted notes. And once the artificial intelligence gets really smart, it doesn't mean that it can change its goal. That just means it has like more resources to be better at its goal. So in this case, the reason that Turi might have killed all those humans was because they were occupying space, and then maybe it found a way to convert the earth into just sheets of paper and then practice on the earth. So the AI itself doesn't have morals, and that's why if we make an AI that's neutral, that doesn't mean it's gonna protect us. Therefore, the article says if we want to create a friendly ASI, which means it will have positive impact, and also unfriendly means it has negative impact. So if we go back to the Turi example, at first it was a friendly ASI, but after it had access to internet and realized how much more efficiently it could use the resources from the earth to write better handcrafted notes, it became unfriendly. Anyway, getting back to the topic, if we want to create a friendly ASI, then it should neither be indifferent and hostile. Making it not hostile will not solve the problem. Now, if everyone who worked on artificial intelligence software cared about the security, we would be able to accomplish this, but there's so many companies concentrated on launching a smarter product and launching it before another company. It's going to be really hard to make sure that we have all the security measures so that we don't create something that we're unable to control. And that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for giving me a bit of your time so that hopefully I can make a bigger portion of your life better. And let me know in the comment section below what you think about AI or if you learned something in this video. And as always, take care.